Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm just going to give you a few minutes to let other people join, and we will be colouring in Mythographic Voyage by Joseph Catimbang. I was thinking of doing a base in alcohol markers and then going on top of that with pencils. So what we'll do is we'll do the base and then we can decide on which pencils we're going to use. I hope that you've had a good day. How was your weekend? Let me know in the comments or in the chat. Hi Shani, welcome. It's great to have you. Right, so we're doing the train page in Mythographic Voyage. And I've got the Ohuhu markers. So I'm going to probably base as much of it as I can in alcohol markers and then go over the top with pencil, and then we can embellish it. So, oh lovely, I'm so glad you like the page. What color did you use for the train? I am stuck on what to do the train, what color to use. I'm gonna go with a dark gray whale, but I don't want to go too dark, so I'm probably going to go for a cool gray, so BG081. Yeah, I was umming and ahhing about a red train because I think Colouring with Elena, she did this page way back when Voyage first came out, and I'm pretty sure she did a red train, and I've been trying to think of other ideas to colour this page without looking like I've used her her rendition, although she does a beautiful job. Okay, so I'm going to use a grey on the whale, and I want to use a dark blue for the sky. Now the challenge I've got with the blues is that my kids use the Ohuhu markers too, so I don't always know which blues are available and which blues are actually used up. Alright, we'll try a Prussian blue. Oh yeah, red and yellow looks beautiful. They are such a great combination. And then I'm going to do this green. So if I do a light green, maybe like a yellow green, then we can layer on top of that. How did the rest of your live stream go? I'm sorry I couldn't carry on watching it. I really did want to. I got caught up with other stuff. These days I'm always just glad when I can jump onto live streams, just because of the timing. They normally, people normally do live streams around 4 p.m. my time, which often means I've got to finalize stuff with the kids, cook dinner, and so it gets a bit hectic at that time. So if I do get a gap, I'm always like, yay, I've scored for the day. Wow, if you finished a page in a live stream, I would be absolutely blown away. You know, you would become my like top coloring hero right then, and I would be in awe. I'd take 5 to 6 weeks on some pages to finish with them on a live stream. It's fine, it is what it is. All right, so then if we do maybe like a light brown here on the tracks, so maybe hazelnut. Do you ever look at your markers and you look at all the numbers and all the words, and it just like your brain doesn't read them, you just stare at them and then feel totally lost. I get like that so often. And then I stare and stare and I think, where is it? Where is the one that I want? It's gotta be in here. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. You have before. That's amazing. Okay, you are now my hero. You're my coloring hero. All right, I'll leave the train and the clouds for last because I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to try the Prussian blue, and fingers and toes crossed, please God, let there be ink in here. And then I will add my own stars. Yay, I got ink. Hi Tanya, how are you? Oh dear, you're seeing my head in this page. We don't want that. I don't like my head in the page. Alright, let me zoom you in. That way I know that if I come closer, my head doesn't block the screen. Now, if I remember rightly, with alcohol markers, you've got to keep moving in order for it to blend and look seamless. So I'm still learning how to do markers. And I think I'm going to actually just color over the stars. Otherwise, it's just too fiddly to go around them, even with a fine tip. So I'm going to try do the base quickly so we can get straight onto the pencil work. So did you have a good day? Is your day still going? Is it productive? It's evening here by me and it's still bright outside, which is gorgeous. Been a bit of a overcast, windy day. So after I helped my 8-year-old build Lego, I decided I needed to go and cut back our overgrown grass. It was getting too long. We grew it so the bees and all of that could be encouraged and, you know, just create more insect life in the area. So it's gotten overgrown and we needed to trim it back. So I thought I'd be helpful and help my husband and surprise him by doing the grass. So I just used a cutters and I hacked it back because it was super long. It's like a mini meadow. And we were also growing it because the grass seeds were starting to come out. And we thought, well, if we take some of the seed from the front garden and we throw it in the back garden, maybe we can encourage a bit more grass there. And, you know, we don't own, we rent. So we don't want to really go and invest in someone else's property. But we do want to have a little bit more grass. So I hacked it all back. And then came back inside to do shopping because Tuesdays are my shopping days, so I needed to do my list. Yeah, I did put a page behind here. The green page is my page. No, I've done it before where I haven't put a page and then the next thing I know there's a bleed through onto the other page. So yeah, all good. Hi Penny. How are you, Penny? How are you keeping? How was your day? Our next door neighbors are, I think they're doing garden work. They're doing something. So they have someone working in their garden, and they were using some sort of machine on and off the whole day. But it sounded like a weed hacker or weed eater, but then I saw dust, so I couldn't get a good look at seeing what it was they were using. Don't want to be a nosy neighbor. Okay, so there's the sky. We might go over that with pencil, depending on how it dries. Looks a bit splotchy. I'm glad you're okay, Penny. Oh, paying bills is not fun, is it? It's just one of those adult things that needs to get done. Oh, and I had to phone around for appointment with an oral hygienist because on the 20th of July I'm getting braces put back in my mouth. My teeth went a bit skew, and anyway, I went to an orthodontist to fix a wire that my previous orthodontist had put behind the top 4 front teeth. And in the process, this new orthodontist said to me, no, you should probably get braces again. Your teeth are too skew to really do anything justice. So in the whole process, I now need to go and have braces put in, but then because my teeth have gotten a bit skew, it's not clean, so they need to clean my teeth, especially the bottom ones that are skew. So yay. But I came right after probably a good 8 or so phone calls to various dentists in the area and getting told no, or we only taking people from the end of the year, which was a bit like frustrating. But I eventually came right. So I've got that on tomorrow. But yeah, joys of just doing things you have to do. No one tells you when you're growing up that being an adult is hard. And I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I remember being excited to be an adult, and people would tell me, oh, don't rush growing up. And then I tell my children, don't rush growing up. You've got your whole life to be an adult. You're only a kid once. It's just because of all the responsibilities. Tanya, you've never been an adult. Oh, well done. Well done. I'm having to re-find the child within. I'm glad you've always had her. So I'm just going over all of this. I always have mixed feelings about this broad section of the marker, because I always feel like it makes it even more streaky. But I understand, sometimes you need the bigger chiseled side so that you can cover more areas. Now, I got the Ohuhu markers for the boys because they use markers far more than I do. So they said to me, no, we want the broad tip and the chisel tip. So the fine tip and the chisel tip. I was like, oh, but what about the brush one? No, we prefer this one. We've gotten the hang of it. Like, okay, it's fine, because they're going to use it more than I am. So I'd rather get them something they'll enjoy. It took me a while to figure out that these humpback whales are actually more grey, because I thought, well, if I make it blue, then it's going to get lost in the sky. So then I realized I could make the whale grey, and it would still look okay. So has anyone else already colored this page? Do you want to color this page? I'm coloring this page because of a request, and I also need to color in a page with travel involved in it. So that's for the checklist challenge. So this is going to tick off that part of the checklist challenge. And also I really love mythographic books. Hi Pickles, how are you? Did you have a good day? Thanks for joining. I love watching people color or paint on Instagram, and if I see people doing things with markers, I also really enjoy watching those. And ADC Art Attack is probably my favorite person to watch when it comes to markers, because with him being a professional artist and markers are his forte, he's actually really cool to watch. I do think though, if you have the marker paper, it's a paper designed for markers, I think a person's experience with markers and coloring and blending with markers really improves if you use the right paper, like everything really. Okay, I've got two types of greens now. Okay, so the yellow green was for the rolling hills, and okay, that's okay, I'll figure it out. Stop doubting myself. But to be honest with you, I can't tell if they're flowers or not. So, okay, well, I don't know, I'm second guessing myself, because here's a flower. Let me move you so you can see. So there's the flower there, and there's a flower there and there, but then the rest, it gets a bit lost. So I am apparently making green flowers. Okay, nope. You show people a million ways how not to. Yeah. Oh, that's a definite for all of us, I think. Okay, so I need to focus here, because if I'm not careful, I'm going to end up coloring sunflowers green, and that will not be very pretty. Can you imagine a green sunflower? Although I suppose what will be, and if I end up going wrong, we'll just fix it. If I go quiet, it's sometimes mainly because I am focused. So just bear with me. I will come back into conversation from time to time. We tried growing sunflowers this year, and they were doing relatively okay indoors. Then I thought, oh well, let me transplant them outside, because they've gotten relatively tall, and I think in the process I killed them. So I'm going to have to try again next year. Sometimes I wonder if it's better to plant sunflowers straight outside, you know, put the seeds in the ground, let them grow up, and then they grow with the elements and all of that. Because I did do that one year, and I think I had better luck. I must say, Joseph Catimbang's pictures are really, really nice. He really thinks carefully about his elements and how to style them well. I've actually really enjoyed his work. So, question for the day. I thought it could be fun to have a question for the day. What coloring supplies or coloring books do you think should be in a person's coloring collection? Like they're indispensable, they're so highly recommended, or the opposite? What coloring supplies or coloring book do you think should not be included in a person's collection, as like, you don't need it, it's a waste of money, don't buy it? Okay, so this is barium yellow. I'm going to do the sunflowers and rethink my flower fields. I find sometimes as you color, you start to see more of the page, and then it's like, oh my gosh, that's what that is. And you start to see things that you didn't see before. Derwent Lightfast and Anastasia book. Opposite, definitely castle arts. Cool. So are you saying no to the Derwent Lightfast and Anastasia? I'm assuming you're saying Derwent Lightfast and Anastasia book, yay, and castle arts, no. Oh, I have about. Are we talking Anastasia Ellie Caldereva books? Is that the book we're talking about? If that's the case, I have 3 of hers. I don't have Derwent Lightfast. I do have castle arts. My worst pencils are the Derwent artists. I don't like them. They just don't really work for me. Or the marker Raffines. Oh, okay. Nobody likes. Nobody should have castle arts. Is that the castle art soft or the castle art gold? Because in 2020 they just had the soft, and I think gold came a year or so later, if I remember correctly. Okay. Oh, wow. I didn't realize they had ones with just numbers. I must have gotten a later one because my set of castle arts have numbers and names. I just find that even though they're not bad, I don't mind them, they're not very versatile with different paper. So they do require some work, but compared to marker Raffine, I find marker Raffine requires a lot more effort, or the opposite will happen. They'll just burnish through the paper in no time. Oh. It's good that we can have these conversations and know that castle arts are losing popularity, and we can spare people we can give them the choice and of making an informed decision. Hi Carly, how are you? It's great to have you. How was your day? We're talking about the question for the day. Which coloring books or supplies do you think should be in a person's coloring collection, or which books and coloring supplies should not be in a person's coloring collection? I quite like the Black Widows. I just finished buying the full set of Black Widows and been really impressed with them. I don't think they're too bad. Chromaflows. Ooh, I haven't tried those. Oh, Shani says no Black Widows and no Chromaflows. I suppose the more a person colors and gets used to their style of coloring, their choice in supplies also changes and adapts, because you learn what works, what doesn't work. So you become more skilled even in choosing supplies. I think for me, one of the coloring books I would not encourage in a coloring book collection, unless the person liked those intricate details, would be Millie Marotta's coloring books. Not because I don't think she's a great artist, I think she does beautiful work, but I just can't, I don't like them, and they're too doodly. So any of those very zen doodly designs where the outline of the person or the illustration is then made up of all those little doodles, I find those really tricky. So I'd probably not recommend that to somebody who wanted to grow their coloring collection. Because I reckon if, you know, mythographic, I would probably recommend a mythographic book, but not with all the hidden objects. Exactly, Collie. What you like, someone else might not like, and so forth. Oh, me neither, Collie. I don't have all the pencils either. I don't know if I would want all the pencils though. But then, I don't know. Maybe that would be nice. I think my husband would prefer if I don't have all the pencils. He wouldn't complain, but he would sort of tease me about it. I want a green undertone here in the center of the sunflowers, because sometimes when the seeds aren't quite ripe, they actually have a green tinge going on for them. A lot of people's opinions and learn from other people. So I suppose in some ways, though, that saves money. So the next question should be, what pencil should we use on this? I've got Prismas, Black Widows, or Polys. We've decided, based on the conversation we're having, that Castle Arts is a no-go. So we won't go into Castle Arts. So it's really a choice of Black Widows, Prismas, or Polys. polys. So Pickles, what did you use before pencils? Oh dear. Hang on, let me fix this picture quality. It does this from time to time where it just goes strange. There we go. All right, so we will do polys. I will get them out in a sec. I'm not quite finished with the markers yet. And I'm leaning towards, so now that I know that this is flowers, I'm thinking maybe we do some pink, some like pretty pink. Oh wow. I've not tried water-based markers in coloring books. I did buy a cheap budget set of water-based markers, gosh, probably 5 years ago as part of the kids' school supplies. I think I might go slightly. So I'm looking here at the pinkish vanilla, but I think maybe I should go the medium pink. Hi Wendy, welcome. It's great to have you. Hi Renee, welcome. How have you both been? Have you had a good day? Okay, I'm gonna go medium pink. All right, stare into my markers and hope that I just find it. Ah, there it is. Okay. All right, let's make it a pink field. So I've made green there, so never mind. I don't know how I'm gonna fix it, but I'll think of something. Thought of giving him blue pants to make denim. Oh dear, you got my head in the picture again. So sorry. Yeah, sorry. It's not working very well today, keeping my head out of the picture. It's ever since I was a kid, because I'm also short-sighted, and I would lean close, even if I wore my glasses or wear contact lenses. So as I start to feel like I'm not actually seeing things clearly, or my eyes are feeling a bit bothered, I will lean my head closer to the book I'm reading or the book I'm working in, and in the hopes of actually seeing things better. So the habit has stayed. So I do apologize. you had to survive on one food, it would be potatoes or tacos. Potatoes is good, full of carbs, good nutrition. Oh, pasta. It's a pity you can't live off chocolate. Oh, a potato salad sounds delicious, Carly. Have you ever heard of Russian salad? Sorry, I'll be with you in a sec. I'm almost done. I'm just concentrating to get all of this sorted out. I think I'm going to leave the train for last. I feel like if I get more time with the page and work with what I know, then it will be easier. Hi Mona, how are you? Okay. So Russian salad is potatoes. It's like a potato salad. Everything is cut into these specific size little cubes. So if I remember it rightly, it's potato, carrots, cucumber, and sometimes they will put meat in it. And if depending on the type of meat, it's either you got a lot of money available and you can afford the more expensive meats, or if you can't afford the more expensive meats, I think you could get tuna in it, or some others. So my Russian friend actually made Russian salad and it was so yum, and I thought it was really great. The only thing is it looked, because of the specific size of everything cut up, it looked like a lot of effort, and I'm just a no fuss girl, so I thought, yeah, I don't see myself making a Russian salad anytime soon, but it does taste nice. Okay, here are the polys. Right, so let's work on our whale. Oh dear, I got the wrong ones down. I got out the ink tents. That's not gonna work. Wait. I got confused with the pencil bags and I brought out the ink tents and not the poly bags. Never mind. There we go. Alright, let's work on the deer whale. Alright, I think we're going to do a cold grey 3. Cold grey 4 and the Payne's grey. And we'll work up the layers and see how we get on. Oh, I love potato salad with mayo. I don't think it's potato salad without mayo. Alright, Payne's grey. I always like to put my shadows in. It helps me make sense of the page. Well, what I find when I make my potato salad, sometimes I don't want a lot of mayonnaise, but I do like to have my potatoes well coated. I take a little bit of milk and I'll just use a splash of milk, stir it up, and that helps to just thin out the mayo a little bit more, so it spreads a bit better. Oh wow, your nephew eats mayo with almost everything. Oh my gosh. I knew somebody who ate just about everything with tomato sauce. That was odd. And since then I've never met anyone else who has loved tomato sauce as much as that particular person. I mean, they had tomato sauce on just about anything. I'm like that with gravy. I love gravy or sauces. But yeah, not the same thing on everything. Corned beef potatoes. Wow. So how do you make corned beef potatoes? Excuse me for not knowing. Is that an American style dish? Is it a specific cuisine, specific nationality dish? I've not heard of it before. I know what corned beef is, so I can, the different elements. I want to one day go to America and I want to taste grits. I've never had grits. I've had different variations of maize. But I'm curious about grits. So I've read about it in books and all sorts of places. Oh wow, that sounds yum. Yeah, Cully, I also like ketchup on fries. It tastes like sand. Oh no. Well, I'll take your word for it. In South Africa, we have pap, which is ground maize, and then you use water and you make this sort of like starch out of it. So you can make it clumpy, which I really like it clumpy, and you can use it with stews and barbecues and that sort of thing. It's really, really yum, especially if you have a tomato and onion relish. But then you can take the same the same ground corn, and using less water and a whisk, you can make what we call krummelpap. And it's these small little round balls that come together. So it's not stodgy, it's much drier. But I don't like that version. I find it too dry, even with a good gravy. It just, yeah, I'm not, it's not my kind of thing. I like the more clumpy, stodgy one. So in my head, I kind of imagine grits to be something similar. Maybe from the sounds of it, if you're saying it's more like sand, then I wonder if it's probably a bit more like krummelpap to my African mind, South African mind. Oh, chewing on sand, okay. Oh, Wendy, you're in the UK. Me too. I moved over from South Africa 5 years ago, so. You like lots of gravy with them. So then if it tastes like sand, is it still quite a popular dish? I mean, as far as I understand, it's more a southern dish. Oh, okay, I hear you, Renee. Wow, so it's a corn version of cream of wheat. I'm trying to fix my picture. There we go. Welcome back, Shani. Oh wow, Renee, that's cool. Yeah, we do cream corn like in the tin, corn on the cob. I use cornstarch as a thickener, and that's about it. So it sounds like grits is more of a specific area in the US than all over. Yeah, I've made meatloaf on occasion, just once or twice. And then I think you shape it in a bread tin, then you wrap it, put bacon on top, and that helps to keep it from drying out. I don't make it too often though. It's like beef Wellington. I don't make that a lot because it's such a lot of work. Actually, I don't know if I've ever made a beef Wellington. Hey, how are you? I hope your time with your family was lovely. It's great to have you with us. We're currently discussing grits. We've discussed grits and we're on to beef Wellington now. And meatloaf. Fair enough, pickles. Oh, somebody likes grits. Yay. I like beef Wellington too. I think what gets me with making a beef Wellington is not knowing how to tell when it's cooked because you wrap it up in pastry. So I don't mind wrapping it in pastry. It's knowing when it's cooked. That's the part that I suppose though you could just stick a thermometer in it and make sure the inside gets to a certain temperature. Oh, you got a cat. That's so cool, Wendy. Oh, cool. Tiger and Jasper. What breed of cat are they? I love cats. Oh, wow. Jenny, that's a lot of cats. I love the names. Night, Wendy. Give Tiger a scratch from us, or a little tickle from us. That's so cool, Shannon. It's cool names for your cats. And what a lovely way of remembering them. Hi, Connie. How are you? Thanks for joining. It's great to have you. How have you been? And how was your day? Yeah, names are so powerful. I love names. I think you can say a lot about something in a name. They have so much meaning behind them. Oh, those are cool names, Shani. You're very creative with your cat names. Thank you, Kenny. We went through a couple of cats in South Africa. I mean, obviously after we moved to the UK, we haven't had a pet since. Renting doesn't really allow for pets, really. Makes it harder if you have a pet to find a place if you have to move. So we had a white cat when we first got married. It was my husband's cat, and that cat was really, really cool. I'm trying to remember his name. I've gone blank on what we called the cat. Oh gosh, it's terrible. Anyway, that cat had a fight with a spotted genet, and he would come back every so often with chunks of fur pulled out of his skin, and we were baffled as to what this cat was fighting and obviously losing, because so much of his fur was coming out. And then the one day I made a roast chicken, and I had my front door open, and we lived in a small, relatively comfortable but smallish 2-bedroom house we bought around the time we got married. And while we were just letting the chicken rest on the counter, this creature comes swiftly into my kitchen and comes close to our chicken, and I moved to take a closer look, because it's not a cat. It's too slender for a cat, but it's about the same length as a cat and a longer tail. And we're like, what the heck is this? And it had spots along its body. And as soon as it saw me get up to have a closer look, it vanished. So we Googled it and we found out it was a spotted genet. And we realized that they are very territorial creatures, and this one is in suburbia. And our cat is being territorial, and that must be what it has been fighting. Anyway, not long after that, our white cat disappeared, and we didn't see it again. So we think he must have had a fight and the spotted genet won. Turns out they're also carnivores. And then after that, we got another cat, and that cat we named Smint because it had a smoky tint. It was a grey cat. And that cat then somewhere along the line got ran over by a car, so it's roadkill, which was really, really sad. And then my mother-in-law brought me our last cat, which we named Gandalf, after Gandalf the Grey in Lord of the Rings, because he was also grey-haired. And I absolutely loved that cat. I was so sad to have to give him away. We just couldn't bring them over with us. We didn't have the money. But he has such a cool personality, and I think one of our great cats would actually climb up the Christmas tree and it would sit on the branches of the Christmas tree. It's such a silly thing. So fun memories. Bye, Carly. Keep well. Hi, Brittany. How are you? I am coloring in with Polychromos. So I just recently found out that Ohuhu are bringing out and actually have got some of their alcohol markers available in the refills. So you don't have to go out and buy a whole new set of alcohol markers. If you have the Ohuhu brand, you can just check their line to see if they have the color you're looking for, and purchase the refill. So I thought that was pretty cool. So what I need to do is actually make a note of which of my markers are running low, and then see if those refills are available, and if not, just keep an eye on it. Hi Leslie, how are you? I'm trying to decide whether to make these spots on the whale white or dark. I haven't decided yet. I do like the way the light grey is coming out against the alcohol marker base. It's actually working really, really well. Did you get a new pencil case, Leslie? It is a lovely book. And so lately there have been amazing pictures done in it. There's so much talent in our colouring community. There really is. It's actually inspiring to see how people colour and their versions of the page, and you can have the same page coloured in the same pencils or the same colour palette and it will still look different. Oh, well done, Leslie, for numbering your pencils. You're very organized. I think I'm going to have to move off this whale soon. I can see I'm going to be colouring it for the whole evening if we're not careful. Oh, wrong one. Wrong pencil, needed the darker one. I suppose I can always come back to it and always deepen it up as we go. Okay, I'm going to put that aside for now. And right, so let's have a look at the pink flowers. And ah over which pencils we're going to use. Okay, I might use pink carmine and a madder. Oh, you don't like mythographics pickled? Is that because they are so tempting and you want to color them in, or because they're so full of gorgeousness and details? Now, as far as I recall, the key with all of this, and I'm talking out loud right now, is as you have, the closer they are, the more detailed. As they get further away, you don't have to worry about as much details in these rolling hills. So it's easy to just create a blend. Which is kind of what I'm going to go for here. I might make the train pink. We'll see. Shannon happened. Oh, absolutely. You have the mythographics, which don't have the hidden objects, are much easier to color in some respects. But again, the details do require a little bit more thinking and planning. But they are easier than having to worry about the hidden objects. Although when adult coloring took off, that was the time where they did have a lot of hidden objects. I mean, even Joanna Basford's books had hidden objects. Kirby Rosanna's Mythomorphia and those sort of books had hidden objects, and it was just the in thing at that time. But what I really respect is the way all these artists adapt. So as they see that there's no need for hidden objects, they adapt to it and create beautiful coloring books without hidden objects. So I really am grateful and respect them for that. Yeah, and some of those hidden objects aren't really relatable. They don't seem to always make sense in the page. Yeah, absolutely. It was a hidden object game that they did put in to the coloring books. I found though once I saw where the hidden objects were, it kind of lost its punch for me. But again, back in 2013, I wasn't coloring the way I am now, so I didn't approach things the same way. So back then I probably wasn't fussed with the hidden objects because I was just getting my head around colored pencils. Whereas as I've grown in coloring, I find I don't like the hidden objects as much because they overwhelm my brain. I don't know how to blend them into or make sense of them if I color them. So I prefer covering them up. So do you prefer using the same color to color up the hidden objects, or is there a different way that you prefer to use when it comes to hidden objects? How do you deal with them? Cool, so you use the same color. That's cool. I sometimes wipe them out with acrylic paints, but I generally try and just blend over them with whatever I'm using. Every now and then I forget one. And then it's quite funny because I'll eventually notice and I'll think, oh, whoops, I have to do that. Oh, cool. You're not competitive. I sometimes find in the mythographic books, now the older ones with the hidden objects, redrawing the element on top of the hidden objects can be a bit challenging. So it's totally doable. It just requires a little bit more thought and just thinking carefully, where is this going? How do I do this? But I quite like that because you can, practice a little bit of drawing skills. Yeah, it's still not for everyone. And that's the beauty of colouring. We get to do what we enjoy, and other people get to do them, and it all works out. I've gone out the picture for you. Well, let's lift it up. No, fair enough, Tanya. Sometimes we just take our time. I don't know, sometimes I look at, colouring slow or colouring fast, and I still find that more often than not, the best colouring I do is the colouring I do slowly. And then I think about, the artists whose profession is portraits or art and pieces, and they spend over 20 hours, some people 80 hours on a commissioned piece of art. And then I think, well, maybe there is something to be said for being slow. But I suppose it comes back down to purpose, purpose and preference, and doing you. So at the end of the day, it's each of us have colouring as a hobby for a reason, and we all get something out of it. So it's about, like, today, what are you getting out of your hobby? Is it meeting the need you have? And then do that. Some days I just have a need to colour in fast and I just want to get stuff done, so I might not colour as carefully. But then other days when you just want to do a different, well, for me it would be maybe I want to focus on colouring a bit more realistic or taking my time learning something, so then the purpose changes. Bye, Connie. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a good week. Was it the one that was just released, the Mythographic Deep Blue? And if so, what did you think of it? I think I asked this last week, so if I'm repeating myself, forgive me. The aviary book looks quite good. Oh, wow. Absolutely, Pickles. We need to remember our why. What did you think of the fish with the other animal combined? Because I saw a couple of those in Deep Blue and I just wasn't sure about them. So I'm going to bring in a bit of a white. I can't believe I colored half of the screen. Seriously. I'm trying to find a deeper color to deepen up my shadows. And I'm thinking a madder will probably work better. Madder better. I'm going to stop rhyming. Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Ronnie. Glad you like them. So last week I went to a very, very good festival, I suppose you could call it a festival or event, showcasing the works of Vincent Van Gogh or Vincent Van Gogh, depending on which area of the world you were from. And it was really spectacular. So it was a 45-minute display or show of all these works. As far as I know, it was all these works. And he started with more like sketchy sort of style. Then when he moved to Paris, he started to paint the city. So then you started to see more city scenes, then landscapes. And as they were showing the pictures, there was all sorts of music, and they took quotes from Vincent van Gogh and added that So it was almost like he was talking and sharing himself as you were watching his work. And he had a great love for music and poetry, and he really immersed himself in his art. And then, you know, you go through all the still life and all sorts of things. Oh, thank you, Sigrid. Appreciate that. So yeah, it was really, really beautiful just to sit and learn more about Vincent Van Gogh or Van Gogh and his style. Very interesting painter, but his Post-Impressionism really only kicked around towards the end of his life, and that was around when he was in France, was around the time he started to really play with color in a time period where color wasn't used a lot. I mean, the paintings of his day were more darker colors and browns and blacks and those sort of neutral colors. There wasn't a lot of color, and he came along and he started to bring in more color. So in some ways he was very advanced for his time, or ahead of his time. And I think in some ways he was a little bit eccentric. It was really, really great to actually sit and just watch. We went with a group, so the kids just danced around to the music or sat, did all sorts, and I sat taking photos. Just completely surprised by him, and he had some really interesting insights where, as he struggled with depression, he found that painting the stars really helped him. So that was when he started painting things like the Starry Night, and it kind of, I think, just touched him back to that thing of, you know, there's something bigger than just him. And one of the interesting things he also said was how loving people is probably one of the greatest arts. And I never thought of loving others as an art. So I sat looking at these quotes and taking photos of them and just blown away at this painter who had so much insight into life, yet a very tragic end to his own life. Because unfortunately his depression got the better of him, and he did commit suicide, which is really, really sad. And he only sold his paintings after he died. But in the midst of that, even though he was unsuccessful selling paintings in his lifetime, he did hold on to the fact that his paintings were going to be, that they were worth it and people were going to see it at some point. So I loved how he had this mix of believing in himself, believing in his artwork, and knowing that at some point people were going to see what he saw. So it was very, very interesting. I kind of wish that they actually did more of those sort of interactive, because they had all these screens, so it was this big show with all these screens around. So everywhere you looked, you would see the artwork, and then just these beautiful music or dramatic music, and it changed as it went along. Be nice to actually see some of the other artists in a similar way. Oh, thanks, Kenny. Glad you like it. I do love how Marcus speeds up coloring in a way, because he gets rid of the white of the paper. So there is a little bit less layering. Oh wow, Leslie, that's amazing. They are great to go to these sort of exhibitions. Brittany, I don't think Amazon really knows when art is plagiarized. I think that is up to the publishers to deal with, and I don't know if Amazon really goes into that sort of stuff. I think the onus is really more on the illustrator and their publishers. So I don't remember if it was 2021 or 2020, but I came across some art that was plagiarized. So I contacted the publishers of the original artists, and I said to them, look, I'd like you to be aware of this. So I just brought it to their attention and left the ball in their court. And that seems to be, from that experience, what most of them really do is they will look into it, they'll thank you for making them aware, and then they take care of it. And then they decide whether it is plagiarized or how they want to handle it. Exactly, Shani. People don't know unless it's brought to their attention. Well, mythographic coloring books having images from other mythographic coloring books may not be stolen because it's a franchise. So they might just be reusing their images that they already have, and the artists that work with them for all we know, actually are aware that it can go across the different books. And they do that because it's just easier and quicker to churn out books and create different content. So again, it would be up to the illustrator to, if they find out or notice, to contact and say, actually, we don't agree with this, and then they have to talk to the publisher. Well, then if they buy other non-mythographic people, then again, just making the publishers aware of it is probably the only thing really any of us can do, is just report it. Oh wow, Shani, that's cool that there are 2 or 3 new artists joining the mythographic team. Do you know who they are? Oh, that's a good point, checking the publishers to see if the books are published by the same company. Hello, my colouring quest. How are you? Welcome. It's great to have you. How was your day? Have you had a good start to your week? Illusions. Ooh, that sounds good. I'll have to have a look at that one. So do you all like to get the books beforehand? Do you prefer to wait for a flip through? I mean, some books I don't wait for a flip through because I know I'm going to like it, but generally I think I like to wait for flip throughs. Oh, okay, so you get them beforehand. That's cool. Especially on something like Illusions, because I'd want to see whether it's it will work for me or not. I'm quite fussy, so Exactly. Waiting for an artist that you know you love. Yeah, because it's well earned money that we're spending on these books. And making sure that we like what we're getting really goes a long way. Yeah, I'll go have a look now and see what the illusion one looks like on Amazon. See from the cover. Sometimes you can tell on the cover. There was a whole lot of them that I decided I'm not interested in. So things like gory and horror and all of that, that's not my cup of tea at all. It creeps me out. So I stay clear away from those sort of things. Yeah, I'm with you. I love Joseph Catimbang and Fabiana Atanasio as well. They are really, really good. I'm just opening up on my Amazon account so I can have a look. Oh wow, that's super detailed. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. So I've opened up Mythographic Illusion to have a look. And I'm not sure. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's very detailed. It's by Diego Weisberg. Maryland. Yeah. Well, in some ways, Kirby is easier if you do like the worlds within worlds. It's not too bad. Oh, I didn't know Fabiana had an Etsy store. So, well, she's closed it now. Ooh, if you could only choose one mythographic book, which one would you choose? I think I looked at Cosmic Spirit and decided it wasn't my cup of tea. That is a really, really good question that you've put up, Pickles. I'm going to be giving that some thought now for the next few minutes. I suppose it depends on who you're targeting or who. I think definitely probably Magical Earth. I'd probably recommend that one. Exactly, it's like choosing a favorite child. Oh, Menagerie. Oh, that's a good one. I don't have that one. I have seen some very beautiful pictures come out of Menagerie. Oh, fair enough, Maryland. You would need ink and watercolor on a Kirby page. It probably does help. The only thing is I don't use markers, so I'll use Inktense on my Kirby pages, But I try stay away from anything else really, just because I don't want it bleeding too badly onto the rest of the pages, even with something behind. But I do like the World series. I'm even starting to think I might actually go ahead and get the Mythic World and possibly even the Alien World. But I'll probably share those with my boys because they quite like both books. Dream Garden, Enchanted Castles. I'm with you, Shani. I do love Paradise. Paradise is my most coloured in mythographic book. And it's still the one where I go back to over and over again, and I think, oh, I could colour this page, and next thing you know, I've got 101 ideas for at least 5 pages all at the same time. So what inspired you to get mythographic books? How did you discover them? I got Mythographic Paradise because I didn't want Kirby Rosanna's Mythomorphia, Phantomorphia, Anamorphia, and all those sort of books. I didn't like the doodles, and especially because he has like those ghosty little doodles in them, and I'm like, no, I don't do that. It's not my thing. So someone suggested I get mythographic books, so I got Mythographic Paradise first, and then I didn't touch it for probably up to a year. Oh, I don't enjoy gory either. I wasn't actually sure how the white Polychromos pencil was going to work on top of the alcohol marker, and I've been pleasantly surprised at how it lightens things up and blends things out. So very, very cool discovery. So I was worried I would have to pull out a different white pencil to try and create some highlights. Oh, cool. That's cool, Pickles. You got the first one because of Kirby and the others because of Shannon and Tanya. Oh wow, Shani, that's impressive that you can make gory stuff soft and cute. That's very interesting. Oh wow, Leslie, so you just bought a couple and then carried on. Oh, sounds like Shannon is the common factor here. So you see, Shannon, you're a world changer, a world shaker, shaking things up. You have an impact. Oh, well done, Shani. You did laundry even though you didn't do your floral page. Were you planning on finishing the entire page today? Right, I think the flower fields are kind of done and the whale is sort of done. So I'm going to zoom you out so you can see, and then I will love and leave you because otherwise we'll spend the whole night doing this. All right, let's see. Back. Ta-da! There we go. So not too bad for flowers. I like this one. These two. They're nice. Oh, thanks, Shani. Yeah, it has come a long way. So on Monday we'll carry on doing some more. Maybe we can get to this guy as well. I've got to think now about the clouds. Not sure. Maybe make them peach colored. So thank you everyone for joining me and for chatting with me. It's been great to spend my evening with you, and I hope that you all have a really, really great week, and I will see you next week. Oh, it's a pleasure, Mona. So Mondays are my normal stream days at about 8 p.m. GMT time. I don't really do more than that at the moment. So yeah, if I can't do a stream, then I normally put it on the community post. But other than that, yeah. And then I normally finish the page on stream, because at least it keeps my myriad of whips down and I actually get them done. So that's it. Thanks everyone, and I will see you next week. Lots of love. Bye for now.